Baruch atah asher anat melecha olam asher kedishonu mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'tatif l'tzitzit. Good morning, Dr. Punk. Hey, Posty. How are you? What brings you here on this particular morning in this place together? Here we are. Hello from Texas. I do not believe that the location of the stars at the moment of my birth defines my fate. You're my favorite, Amanda. So, I am noticing that my lips and my tongue do not have the kind of agility that I would like them to have. So let's do a vocal warm-up. I'm doing pretty well this morning, right? You know, there are ups and downs. When you live with other people, you absorb their emotions, and the people that I live with, I have many. But I'm quite happy to be here with you this morning to do this repetition together. I find it very grounding. So I'm going to take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and we'll exhale with a low, even tone, like this. Hi, Lee. Lily? Lily, not Lee. It's very tiny font. I often mispronounce people's names. What the hell are we doing? We're being here together in the same place at the same time to focus on our shared experience of being here together. That's what we're doing. If that sounds good, you can stay. Good morning, Frankie. So I'm going to take another deep breath in and then exhale with another tone. This one a little bit higher. This one more like my speaking voice. And it will be a little bit more challenging to hold it for as long, but that's okay. That's why this is practice. We practice every day to try to improve. I'm going to have rice for breakfast, white rice, with some olive oil and soy sauce, and maybe also some seaweed, and maybe even some almonds. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling by the end of the stream. So take a deep breath in, and then we'll exhale in a tone. How are you today? I'm well, Maddie. How are you? Good morning, Alana. Ooh, Nelson. Yes, indeed. We make noises at each other, and whether or not they have any sort of meaning is completely contingent on you and your interpretive frame. So, today we will begin, as we always do, with some words from the book of Deuteronomy. Right? This book was written 2,500 years ago, when the lived reality of the people saying the words was radically different than it is today. Good morning, Abby. I missed you yesterday. I was so expecting that I would see you. I was like, I'll be on in 10 minutes. And then, of course, I was late. I was on in like 15 or 20 minutes, but then you just weren't there. And I missed you. I'm glad you're here today. Good morning, Rebecca. How are you? So we're going to say the Shema, right? The Shema is this very simple and intense statement of monotheism, right? And then we will continue on with the Vahafta, where the Vahafta says, you should copy these words. So we'll copy them. And then we'll say some things about how we don't deserve any of it, because Yahweh's big and scary. But we won't dwell on that too much. And then we will continue to read from some ancient Babylonian literature. And that will be quite nice. Thank you, Amanda. I like that compliment. That's a nice compliment. This one right here, it's kind of one-sided. This one's smaller. Good morning, Ishai. How are you? Abby sending me roses? You shouldn't have. Good morning, Dr. Punk. How are your dogs? Did the vet say they were okay? Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et anat Elohecha uv'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'adecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher nochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'vitecha v'lechtecha chavadech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'chayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtaham al mizuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha. I wish there were subtitles too. If you like, you can go onto my Discord server. There's a link in my bio. You can head on there, and in the live stream chat channel, there's pinned translations and transliterations of all of these prayers. Yeast infection, he will survive. Maria, I wish I spoke Arabic. I really wish I did. I'm going to go to Palestine next year. For sure. I was going to go like 2 years ago, but then there was this pandemic that happened. It messed with all my plans for years and years. But I'm going to go to Palestine next year, and I'm going to rigorously take Arabic classes. My goal is to be there for 6 months and come back fluent in Arabic. We'll see if I succeed. What am I doing? I'm hanging out with you. What are you doing? Was that Aramaic? I believe it was Hebrew. I believe that the Vahafta was written in ancient Hebrew. But it could also be Aramaic. I'm certain that there were parts of the Torah that were written in Aramaic. It's true, but I don't know the distinctions between the linguistic history and the eras, right? Like maybe the book of Daniel was written in Aramaic, but Deuteronomy was written in Hebrew. I'm quite confident of that. It will be cool. Yeah, it will. Maria, what part of the world are you from? So, there's a little bit more to this prayer, right? So the first part of the prayer that we said, the Shema, it says that God is one, right? Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Echad meaning one in Hebrew. And then we go on, and we say the Vahafta, and the Vahafta says, and you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart, and all your soul, and all your might. And these words, which I'm repeating to you today, right now, teach them to your children. Which, I interpret, given the circumstances of my life, to mean teach them to you. Teach them to the folks who want to share these moments with me, even if they're extremely fleeting. And recite them when you wake up in the morning, as I do, and when you go to bed at night, and when you are traveling, and when you are at home. and inscribe them as a symbol on your hand and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. And on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. Right? Repeat these words. Repeat these words. And maybe one day you will viscerally, in your body, understand the underlying meaning of Yahweh Echad. God is one. Maybe one day. I do celebrate Jewish holidays in my community. I cook Shabbat dinner every week. Made a video about that. You can check in my archive. It's a pretty good one. I'm proud of that film. It took me a long time to make. And we also celebrate Passover, but we're not actually explicitly religious community, right? Like, we don't celebrate Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or Sukkot or any of the major holidays. You're from Algeria. Wow. How close to the coast do you live? Are you on the Mediterranean Sea or are you in the desert? When will I visit Israel? I will visit Israel at the same time that I visit Palestine. So I'm hoping perhaps next winter, not this winter, so like in 14 months or something like that, I expect to be in Israel. But actually I will be spending most of my time in Palestine. Good morning from Kentucky. Good morning, Janet. How are you? Good morning, Kaylee. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So the prayer continues on, right? And there's another portion of this prayer in the book of Deuteronomy that is not commonly repeated, at least in American synagogues. It's replaced with some phrase from the book of Numbers, which is much less meaningful. And it goes like this: V'chaya ki v'yachaya Elohecha el ha'artz asher nishba lavatecha le'avram yitzchak ul Yaakov letet lach avrim gdolot v'tovot asher lo vanita uvatim mili'im kol tuva asher lo mileta uverot hatzavim asher lahasa v'kererim v'zitim asher notata ve'alachta ve'shavata hishamer lecha pen tishchach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi'eretz Mitzrayim Mibet Avadim. The northern side of Algeria. So do you go to the ocean often? Or the sea? So that phrase translates as, when Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. And these words, I haven't dwelled on them much in this stream in the last few months because they're sad words, right? They're a reminder that we do not own anything that we think that we own, right? That everything that we were given was made by someone else, for someone else, right? And we live on occupied land. Remember when you go into cities that you did not build, full of houses that you did not fill, right? Right. It's a very vivid description of Israel and Palestine, right? This ancient land constantly occupied by one brother or the other, stealing inheritance from one another, on and on, down through the generations, right? And I think about it when I look outside, right? I'm looking at this hill that I live on. There's a spring up there, right? That I drink from every day. Cisterns filled with water that I did not hew, right? Like, this is very vividly a part of my life. Like, I recognize that I live on stolen land, and I did not earn anything that I have. I simply have it. And just as easily as I have it, it could be taken away from me. And I have to be okay with that. Hi, Paige. Is that a picture of your goat? It's really nice to see you. I've been on quite a lot, Paris, but the algorithm weather is a funny thing. Like, I think maybe I've just been unshadow banned or something. Like, I don't know how any of these things work, really. Like, I make films, try to make them go viral, but I don't really know how they work. But I have noticed a strong uptick in people finding my page again after a long time of quiet here. It's nice to have more people here. It's really nice. Nice to have more voices. She looks like a very beautiful goat, Rebecca. Very beautiful goat. Hello from Toronto. Someone trolling my friend Abby? They're punching a little lower? That's no cool. Not cool. Trolls getting creative, huh? Don't want to troll me, instead they want to troll my moderators. That's lame. That's lame. She's an old sassy lady. Does she produce milk still? Probably not. You're amazing, Heather. Thank you, Amy. So, we can continue on with our old stories. Today we're reading from a story called Atrahasis. Atrahasis is the original Noah, right? This is a story of a great flood. It's also a story about the creation of the world. We read one Babylonian creation story, called the Enuma Elish, right? And here's another one. And they somewhat contradict each other, right? There's different stories about what the gods did and what they made and how they did it. But it's okay, right? We don't actually need internal narrative consistency in order for these stories to have meaning, because they were written over centuries, right, by many different people, and it's only now with historical context that we label them both as Mesopotamian, right, or Babylonian. But nonetheless, we have this story here, and I'm excited to share it with you. So this is a story about the creation of the world as we know it today, according to the ancient Babylonians. And it goes like this. It was 3,600 years in which they carried the heavy loads. The work was burdensome. They were busy night and day, so they grumbled and blamed one another often enough. They complained over piles of soils they had dug up. We should go to the chamberlain, to our chief overseer, so that he might bring us rest from our unrelenting labors. Let us go, bring out the Lord as the supreme authority, as the counselor of war, bring him forth out of this house. Let us go there and collect Elil, the supreme authority, as the counselor of war, bring him forth out of his house. Among them, Allah raised his voice to speak and be heard, making a speech to his brothers, to all of the high gods. We've kept track of every long year that we've worked. It has been 3,600 years. We have carried the heavy loads. The work is burdensome. We remain busy night and day, so we've grumbled and blamed one another often enough. We complain over the piles of soil that we have dug up. We should go to the chamberlain, to our chief overseer, so that he might bring us rest from our unrelenting labors. Let us go and bring out the Lord as the supreme authority, as the counselor of war, bring him forth out of his house. Let us go there to collect Elil as the supreme authority, as the counselor of war, bring him forth out of his house. So let us raise up our battle cry and bring war to the fore. So, what's happening in this story? Well, so in the first part, we read how there were two kinds of gods. There were the Anunnaki and the Igigi. And the Anunnaki created the Igigi to work for them as slaves. And here we see that after 3,600 years of slavery, the Igigi have had enough. This is enough. They don't want to work. They don't want to dig the channels of the Tigris and Euphrates River anymore. It took them 3,600 years to carve out the channels of the rivers. And they say, enough is enough. Let's declare war. And at that, we will pause, and we will continue to read from the story of Atrahasis another day, and learn about the cosmic war between the gods that created the world as we know it. It's quite a metaphor, right? Like, I kind of wish we had creation myths that didn't entail cosmic war. That'd be nice. Why am I reading you all of these stories about battles? Battles and heroes and obnoxious kings with their big cocks saying, mine is bigger than yours. I don't want to work for you. I want to be in control. Right? We need different kinds of mythology, I think. We're training our goats to be pack goats, Paige. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you. We've got a saddle for them, and we go out into the woods and harvest things, and then they carry them home for us. It's really cute. It is also the world we live in. Yes, the mythology that we've inherited reflects the world that we live in. Yes, pack goats. Pack goats. It takes a lot of training. Yeah, my partner has been training them very regularly to wear these saddles, and because they have to learn how to balance the weight. But the goal is to be able to like take them camping. It's really cute. It's very, very cottagecore, I suppose. Listening to me on your way home from work in the morning. Do you work a night shift, Shannon? Right? What is it that you're walking home from work at 10:41 a.m.? I guess we're in a different time zone. Just a little toad in a wide world. Yes, that's how I feel often enough. So, now, after reading about those gods, right, so did you hear there was a mention of Allah in that story? Right, I think this is a very different Allah than the Arabian Allah, right? Among them, Allah raised his voice to speak to be heard. But I think it's quite telling that there was a god called Allah in Mesopotamia. Long before Islam was ever a glimmer in anyone's eye. You work in the ER. Gosh, that sounds stressful. You were up all night in the emergency room? Oh my gosh. I do not envy that position. I mean, I'm sure it's very meaningful for you, right? I'm sure, like, you do it and you know that you're impacting people's lives in a really important way, but it is work that I could never do. Thanks, Erica. I appreciate that. Cream cheese and bagel, you're in Japan and yet you're eating a very American food. A pack sheep. Her name is Noodles. You have a pack sheep? You want a pack sheep. You have a sheep named Noodles? Now I'm confused. So, we're going to continue on with our repetition of old sacred words, because that's what we do, right? Gotta keep up the pace. Gotta keep it interesting, otherwise everyone will leave. So we're going to say Arati now, right? And so Arati is a prayer from the Bhagavad Gita. So it's about 2,000 years old, and there's all sorts of different god names in this one. But there's some sort of similarities, right? Right? It's basically the same idea. We say these names of gods, we remember them, we tell their stories, and it reminds us a little bit of our context in the world, right? And hopefully gives us a little bit more better sense of place, sense of self even, maybe. You think so, Shannon? Sometimes I doubt it. Sometimes it feels like I'm farting into the void or something. Yeah, most of the time I am glad to do what I do. I don't think all your messages are going through, Paige. The last message I got was about a pack sheep named Noodles, and I asked you some questions, and I didn't. I don't know. I maybe Abby sees things that I don't. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, do tell me more about your pack sheep. I'm curious. I have no idea how impractical my presence is. You're right. I actually have no idea. Right. That is part of the shape of a parasocial relationship is I don't actually know how I'm impacting you because I don't see it. Right. And like I want to know. Right. I want to have impact. That's why I do this work. But you have a pack sheep named Noodles. Do you have a saddle with her? See, here I thought I was telling you about pack goats as if it was some novel new thing, but you already have a pack sheep, and you go on adventures with her. Hi, Rain. Nice to see you. It's been a while. So we're going to say Arati, and the word Arati means flame. Here we have our little flame. Abby does not like it when I do this. I'm going to burn up the camera. But here's our little flame, and we're going to remind ourselves that what that flame is and what we are the same. Oh, you should train her to be a pack sheep. Yeah, I wonder what the pros and cons of using sheeps or goats are. Like, I know that they have different diets. That's why I do it. I do it just to make you nervous. You're at work and you're stopping by to say hello. Well, hello. I'm glad you came in to say hi. Rain, will you tell me what your work is? I try to know this of everybody who comes here, and it's like actually impossible for me to know everybody's job. But you tell me, and I'll try to remember. What do you do for work? Dr. Punk likes the flame. Yeah, I mean, I can get it very close to the camera lens, right? I can just, like, fill the entire thing. It's just flames. and you can see me through it. It's pretty cool. You're a caregiver. It's the most important work in the world. Sheep are very easy to care for. Goats are very messy and smelly. Yes, but goats have much more flexible diets, so they're cheaper to keep. More labor, less money, I suppose. So, Arati is a repetition of the names of God from a Hindu perspective, right? But the names themselves matter less than the repetition of the syllables in general. Are there certain days that I go live, or is it random? I try to go live most days. I haven't been streaming on Sundays for a while because I've had morning engagement on Sundays. I'm going to start streaming again on Tuesdays and Fridays, but I had a class that I was teaching, so I couldn't stream when that. But, my intention is to stream around this time every morning, and sometimes I don't get there. But, I try. But, it probably is more random than scheduled. But, definitely Mondays. When I didn't stream on Tuesday, I streamed yesterday. I'm streaming today. And I stream in other places at other times. Caring for people is very important. I never worry that I might get sick accidentally from eating bad dumpster food. Never once have I worried about that. Because, I have, a sense of smell and taste, and so do you. And I think everybody knows what good food is and what bad food is. It's not actually a deep mystery. Good morning, Takisha. Good morning, Sarah. All my friends are here. So, let's say Arati. Let's repeat some more names of God. And maybe by doing so, we can understand what it is we're saying. Or not. Maybe it's all just gibberish. Saying gibberish together is perfectly fine, too. There's a similar emotional palette. Similar emotional impact. So Arati goes like this. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sada Shiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati Mahakali and Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutaravatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Grave Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayappa Samine Ayappa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Grave Moses Grave Buddha Grave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Grave Guru Nanak Grave Samastya Guru Bodhamaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatra Suyabati Natandrakaratam Nimavidyobati Kutoya Magni Twameva Vantamanamandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Kange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Hiya Namastitam namo namaha. So, Mr. Jacob Toe, this song is not Arabian. It comes from the Indian subcontinent. But I'm glad you like it. And no, we're not worshipping Baal in this song, my Christian friend. Instead, we're worshipping Shiva and Dattatreya and Hanuman and Jesus and Moses and Buddha and Muhammad, all of them at once, right? Because they are all equal in the eyes of the infinite, which has no eyes and all of the eyes at the same time. Twameva mata chapita twameva, twameva bandusha saka twameva, twameva vidya dravinam twameva, twameva sarvam mama deva deva, kayena vacha manasenduyarva, buddhyat manava prakriti sabhavad, karomi adyad mangalam parasmahi, Narayana iti sarmar payami. Sarvadharmam pravichayam amikam savanambraja aham svasara papayo mukshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you. All of these, all of them, I dedicate to you. Because actually it's human relationship that holds meaning in my life. And the stories are just representations of that, right? So here we are. Here we are together for these moments in time. So we will conclude today with a mourner's Kaddish. The word Kaddish means prayer, or maybe it means holy, or sacred. Maybe it just means Kaddish, right? It's just syllables. Syllables which mean what they are. And the mourner's Kaddish is a prayer of grief. It's a prayer of mourning. It's a prayer of conclusion, right? A prayer of letting go. So we will, at bare minimum, let go of our time together. Although I will stay for breakfast this morning. But we'll let go of this moment. And let go of those people that we have lost. Release them from the neural looping in our minds that causes us to suffer in their absence. And when I say this prayer these days, I'm mostly trying to relinquish not actually a person, but a sense of attachment I have to a person that I would like to be that I will never be, or a person that I was that I no longer am, desires that I wish I did not have. I release them. Yeah, so if there's anyone that you are grieving, anything that you are mourning, anything that you would like to let go of, please feel free to place them in the chat. I'm so sorry that you lost your grandfather, Dr. Punk. And we will say Kaddish together, and in these moments be together as we release them. So the words of the mourner's Kaddish that have been repeated for 2,000 years at least by my ancestors, they sound like this. Yid Kadal, Vid Kadash, Shema Rabba. Biama divrachiote viamlich malchute, bechayachon viamechon vchayde kolbe Israel, bagalav isman kari fimru. Amen. Yehe Shema Rabba mivarach lialam olmei olmaya, yit barach vishtabach vit baar vit ramam vit naseh, vitadar vitale vitalal Shema de kudesha barichu, leela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbichata v'nechemata, diamiran biama vimru. Amen. Yehe Shlema Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Ose shalom v'imramav huya ase shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Ose shalom v'imramav huya ase shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru V'imru Amen. And that concludes our morning ritual. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. It's an incredible gift, this community. It really is. Like, I'm kind of astonished that you all are here and that you care. It still surprises me. So, I have some rice in the rice cooker. It's been a while since I've done that. I've usually been going downstairs to eat because there's higher protein density food down there and better vegetables. But I have some rice in the rice cooker. I would like to eat it. So I'm going to go get some rice. And yes, I'm the bin lady. Hello. And then we can chat a little bit. And I'd love to hear what you're up to today. I'm never going to straighten my hair, Roxy. When I was in high school, when I was a boy, there were a bunch of girls who decided that they wanted to straighten my hair. And I said, okay, you can do it. And it was very painful. And it, like, ruined the texture of it. And, not into it. So I don't think I will ever straighten my hair. But it's an interesting thought. Alright, let's get some rice. I'm really hungry. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds or so. Hey, look, I'm back. I have never been to Australia. My hair isn't that much longer than it looks now, right? Like, obviously it's curly, but, I can pull it down, right? So, like, if I had straight hair, it would be, well below my shoulders instead of, like, at the shoulder line. But, like, I don't know, I get 3 or 4 extra inches from it. It's not actually that much, and the top of my head is shorter because I cut it into some weird queer mullet shape because I don't know how else to cut my hair. I haven't washed it in a few days, but it's looking pretty good. I'd say it's good hair. Am I married? Kind of. Not legally, but emotionally. I share all my money with a bunch of people, and some of them I have intimate relationships with. The level of committed relationship that I am in, I believe, constitutes a marriage. Like, I call her my wife. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm married. Depends. Oh, very hot. Hey, thanks for the roses. Every time I live stream, I make like 30 cents. Maybe sometimes I make like $1. But it's funny, Roxy, because I also share all my money with some people that I am definitely not married to. Right? Like, some of the people that I share all my money with, I am in intimate relationships. One of them I'm in a sexual relationship with. But the one that I'm in my sexual relationship with, I would not label as my wife. Maybe they're my husband. Difficult to say. It's confusing. You tried wasabi this week for the first time. Abby, you've been missing out. I can't do spicy food. Like, I can't do capsaicin spicy. But I love wasabi. Like, horseradish, I could eat horseradish all day long. I don't know why my mouth is the way it is. Yeah. You bought 5 bags. But there's lots of different kinds of wasabi. right? Like fresh horseradish is much, much better than anything else. We grow horseradish here, which is not the same as Japanese horseradish. Japanese horseradish, as far as I know, only grows in specific marshes in Japan. And its growing conditions are very peculiar. But there are other brassicas that taste similar. You want to buy me a ticket, Mace? I would love to visit Australia. Yes, trying to deal with one person is enough for most people. I'm crazy. I decided to be married to so many, in so many different circumstances. It's dumb. Sometimes I think I should just quit everything and go be monogamous somewhere. Yes, please, Mace. I want to go to Australia. Yeah, you should get to know me a bit first. Shouldn't go dropping thousands of dollars on a girl you met on TikTok. It's not the best look. But I would love to go to Australia one day. What's my payoff? What's my payoff for what? Good morning, Charlie. How are you? I love it too. I got this tattoo the same month that I started transitioning, hormonally transitioning. So it represents a very important turning point in my life. It's not quite plain. There's some soy sauce in it and some olive oil. And I'm also eating almonds and seaweed. You just got into your apartment. Where were you before? Were you out on the road? You were traveling? Rice. White rice. Normally I don't have white rice up here, but I got a little bit of white rice. I look forward to hanging out with you every morning. You were staying in a motel for a week. That sounds stressful. I do not like staying in motels. What's my favorite way to start the morning? I like live streaming with you. I prefer mornings when I can do that to mornings where I can't. Why were you in a motel for a week? Yeah, I think I've eaten meat in some of my videos. I mean, I definitely eat a lot of meat. You're back, Paige. Welcome back. Do I ever go on vacation? I have not been on a vacation since the pandemic began. I mean, I don't know what counts as a vacation. Like, I don't have a job really where I can like take time off from it. Like, I have to always work, so I'm like, you know, like wherever I am is an opportunity to make content. So I don't know. Welcome back, Ellie. Like, I went to Chicago in March. I guess that counts as a vacation. But prior to that, I hadn't left this space for a long time. I really want to be traveling more. I really do. But I'm working on finishing up a degree, and while I'm working on that degree, I feel like I can't leave. I'm glad you made it here, Ellie. Pranayama. Unbothered. That was a very long time ago. I haven't done pranayama on here in quite a long time because I got enough feedback from trolls basically saying that, like, it wasn't my practice to teach. And that feedback resonated enough with me, right? Because I don't have formal training in pranayama. I took a couple of pranayama classes, in a, from a religious institution that I do have a lot of experience with, but I don't think I really have authority to call myself a teacher. And one day I will, like, go through their certification process and I'll become a teacher, and then I'll teach pranayama on the internet more. But yeah, it didn't feel right to offer that to my TikTok audience, so I stopped. You're a multitasker, M-Frog, playing Animal Crossing and cuddling your cat and chatting with me on TikTok. How do you have the attention? Boring Island. You're off the coast of Australia. What time is it? It is 11:07. 11:07 in the morning. What time is it where you're at? Idiot, you're not blocked from talking. Although with a name like Idiot, you might want to reconsider what you have to say. Thank you, Roxy. I appreciate that. It's 1 a.m. in Australia and 9 a.m. in Denver, and yet we're all here at the same time, regardless of what the sun says. Idiot, can you tell me why you chose the name Idiot for your handle? That seems like a recipe for self-harm. You're stuck at home with COVID with your fiancé. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, there's still a pandemic on, you know? Time is relative to the observer. I'm sure that the sun is in a different location in your sky than in mine. But nonetheless, it is the same time, because we are talking to each other live. Just eating rice with some almonds. Yes, I can see your comment, Chi. Wrong. Google it. I'm right and you're wrong. Me. People on the internet are so funny. You're going to make some kale chips. Are you going to make it in the oven? Or do you have a dehydrator that you're going to use? How do you like to make kale chips, Paige? Seaweed is pretty great. I wish there were more seaweed in my life. And I don't mean to make fun of you, Mace. It's, I don't know. Online relationships like this, they're funny. Like, it's very easy to misunderstand someone. Very easy to believe that it's likely that they'll come visit you across the world because you like their face on the clock app. I get lots of people asking to come visit me, and it's funny. Like, I think we have very different ideas about what the parameters of this relationship is, and, like, it's actually okay to have different ideas. Like, that's not problematic. Everybody has their own perspective, but it's just quite an experience for me to be, like, blasted with a fire hose of different perspectives. And I'm like, oh, there's that one and that one and that one, and everyone has an opinion. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Namaste. You have bananas too? Where did you get your bananas? Did you grow them? Were they imported from the Dominican Republic? Or from Costa Rica? Maybe they're from Taiwan. banana chips. Nearly done with breakfast, friends. We are nearly done. Put too much salt in that one. Now I'm thirsty. I'm gonna eat a few more seaweeds. They were from a unique place, the grocery. What is on my agenda for today? So today I'm going to be continuing work on a mushroom paper that I wrote with my students. They left last week. And they left me with a rough draft of a paper. And it's very messy. So I have to go through the whole paper line by line and copy it into a new document where everything is fact-checked and all the references are double-checked and all of the formatting is redone, right? So that we've got like all caps for the headlines and size 8 font for the figures and size 10 font for the species names. And like we're submitting it to a publication that is very specific with its guidelines for how to format a paper. And so I'm doing this like very tedious process of reformatting this mycology biodiversity survey that I did with my students. Mushrooms of the Mid-Atlantic States thingy from Tractor Supply. Yeah, so we wrote a paper, mushrooms of the valley. Mushrooms of the valley that we live in. Yeah, so I've been working on that since they left. I started the day that they left because I want to get this thing done. And it's so fucking tedious. It's like the most tedious work that I ever have to do is formatting academic papers. And I've done this once before. I wrote a paper like this when I was in Palestine. And that took me a month. It took me a month in Palestine to get the paper all formatted and done. This one has taken 2 years because I've worked with a bunch of undergraduates and they're slow. But it's because I'm teaching them, right? Like as a learning experience, how to write a scientific paper. So, but we're almost done, right? Like the paper is almost formatted and then I can send it off to the publisher and then I can show it to my advisor and be like, hey, look, I wrote a paper with a bunch of undergrads. Isn't that cool? Yeah. You really disliked writing papers? Me too. Me too. Anyhow, Brooke, if it wasn't obvious from that little story, I'm a graduate student, so I work at a university, mostly as a teacher, but I'm also an entertainer. I live here on TikTok. My job is to entertain you for pennies. But whenever I mention that, Dr. Punk sends me like 15 cents so that I know that he cares. What about Louis the 14th? Okay. So I think it is time for me to go. I have to get working on this paper. This mushroom paper that I don't particularly want to be working on, but I do need to work on it to get it done. My mom is doing well. She might be visiting me today, actually. She's coming up to this part of the world. She's doing like a yoga conference or something. I don't know exactly what she's doing, but she might come stop by this afternoon to say hi. So, yeah. Have a great day, Chloe. I'm signing off too. Yeah, all of you who are here, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's a really nice morning. Really nice way to spend the day. I will see you all here tomorrow. I think I'm going to stream tomorrow too. I want to be streaming more regularly because I love you all. So I will stream tomorrow morning, and I hope you have a really lovely day. Okay. Farewell.